What is up, guys? It's your favorite transparent YouTuber, Transparent Hoodie, making a Street Fighter 5 video. I don't really make a lot of these types of videos on the channel, but just to let you guys know, I do play Street Fighter 5. Very unpopular opinion. I'm actually one of the few people that actually enjoys the game for kind of what it is. So there's that too. And honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, before actually coming up with the title, coming up with the idea for the video, I just told myself I wanted to make a Street Fighter 5 related video, and pretty much the first thing that came to mind that I could potentially talk about is obviously Gil, but I also kind of want to talk about like season 4 as a whole for myself. I can't talk about it for anybody else because obviously everybody has their own individual opinions about the actual game itself. But when it came to season 4 Street Fighter 5, it was a very weird season where obviously, we all know when it came to season 4, one, there wasn't a season pass like we usually have gotten for like season 1, 2, and 3. So there was no season pass that was, announced, that was stated. It was kind of just characters coming out. Obviously, there was that one balance change that we got in the beginning of the season itself, where characters did change up a little bit, which it happens, every season here or there or so, or every in between a season, we do get like character updates for each of the pre-existing characters in the game. So I thought that was dope and fine, but for the most part, like, if I was to say for myself what they should potentially change when it comes to Street Fighter 5, or what they could potentially do that's a little bit different, is I don't know. And as I feel like that's the thing that I've realized, even when it comes to the community itself, like nobody really knows what they want out of Street Fighter 5, because I feel like for the most part we're all just saying blanket statements, right? Like, people, I read comments on videos, I see other, high personalities that play Street Fighter kind of give everybody just blanket statements of just like, okay, I want this game to be broken. Cool. How do you want to go about that? There's other statements saying that we need more fundamental mechanics. We need more game modes. Cool. How do we go about that? The only sound, like, request I've heard is obviously make the netcode better. And I feel like overall, that's Street Fighter V's biggest drawback is when it comes to the online play. Online play is probably now one of the most difficult things to have to deal with because of the way it functions and the way how they have it work. So in Street Fighter 4, yes, I know, old game. Street Fighter 4, for the most part, you could just set up a lobby, whether it was rank or it was player matches, set up a lobby. People could genuinely find your lobby, and then you could just join matches that way. But when it comes to rank and casual matches, outside of just lobby-based matches that the game already offers, rank and casual-based matches, like you kind of have to be randomly set up or paired with X or Y player that the game finds or feels that best suits your connection, and that's the issue right there. So first things first, when it comes to like Street Fighter 5 or whatever, of course the number one and biggest complaint that I feel like should be addressed is definitely the netcode. I feel like regardless of what level of player you are, having a better and more streamlined experience would be the best thing for everybody. I feel like regardless of the level you are, everybody will definitely be happy about that. So that's just the thing I've heard altogether. Outside of all the blanket statements that I've been hearing from just people or personalities from like the community and stuff like that, make the game broken. Personally, I don't really care about that. Like, I don't care if quote unquote the game is broken. And obviously, to give you guys context of what that means for most players when they say make the game broken, that pretty much means just make the game over the top, ridiculous, out there. So if that's the type of game you want, to me that makes no sense, because you still have to understand what you're basically asking for when you say let's quote unquote make the game broken, right? So when you're saying make the game broken, you're potentially saying that you want the craziest version or rendition of your character that's possible, right? Like, obviously we're not going to be having like Ryu do EX tackles, because that wouldn't make foundation sense, right? Like, for the foundation of the character and what they built on, that wouldn't make sense for Ryu, because at the end of the day, Ryu, he's been built to work and function a very specific type of way. So that's the thing about quote unquote breaking a character now. So even if Capcom decided to make every single character nutty, that doesn't make this game balanced or fun, because if one character or all the characters are nutty, the tier list doesn't change. Because that's the thing that you guys really don't understand about this. The tier list doesn't change. Potentially what you're saying is top tier will get crazier, bottom tier will be competent, and S tier or 0 tier that's in this game is going to be untouchable. And that doesn't even sound a little bit fun. Like, I do like and I do enjoy character variety. So this type of thinking is just not going to make the game fun at all, because obviously, regardless of how a character function, I feel like the default mindset for a lot of players is I want to win. And the way you win in Street Fighter, unfortunately now, is picking the strongest characters. I think JB put it best when he had like a little interview. I think his name is JB or JD. I think it's JB. I think JB put it best when he said like he really don't care for the character roster itself for tournament play. He kind of just picks whatever is the strongest character. And yes, I understand he did say tournament play, but I feel like most players in general, they kind of just gravitate towards the stronger characters because of that mentality. Regardless of if you're a tournament player or not, you're just gonna want to pick or be aka the strongest characters. Obviously, you got character loyalists, you got individuals that play characters that they feel that is fun, but quote unquote making the game broken, I think, is not going to help Street Fighter 5. A better statement to me is make Street Fighter fun, make characters more, let's say, fun. Viable is different from fun. A character could still be fun, but he's just not necessarily, or she's just not necessarily a viable character, and I'm okay with that. Like, me personally, guys, I play characters like Ryu, I play characters like Sakura, Laura, I dabble with Poison, I dabble with Juri. These are the characters that I really do like and I really do enjoy playing within the game, outside of other characters that I do pick up and just mess around with every now and then. But those characters, for the most part, if they're not top tier or S tier, I'm fine with that. But if they are more fun to play, their combo paths are a little bit more engaging, they're a little bit more quote unquote hype, is what like a lot of people like to say for certain characters. Like if they're quote unquote hype or whatever, right? I think that would be a way more fun experience for me as a player, rather than me wanting a character to be top tier or me wanting any of these characters that I named out to be broken. So that's just me. So that's just characters, right? I guess you could say that's just characters and that's just game functions in general. Another thing that I feel like has been really weird when it comes just to Season 4 of Street Fighter is just going back to what I was mentioning before, just the character selection. Because for the most part, I just feel like this game is really dry when it comes to just the potential characters people can actually play and feel confident in playing. I'm not trying to make this game out to be a Tekken. I don't want this game to be Tekken. This game is Street Fighter. If I want to play Tekken, I'll play Tekken. If I want to play Dragon Ball FighterZ, I'll play Dragon Ball FighterZ. Even in Dragon Ball FighterZ, there's a vacuum when it comes to the tier list where characters are too clearly better than other characters. Street Fighter has that same problem for the most part, but you could still make certain characters manageable. Like I would say like Birdie, for the most part, I wouldn't really give him top 5. Or even, well, I'll probably give him top 10. Birdie's really good on neutral, so I'll probably give Birdie up there. Armika, definitely haven't been seeing the same limelight that she has been seeing before, but I'll definitely give her up there. Urien is definitely strong, powerful character. Karen is Karen, let's not even bring Karen up. Guile is definitely a character up there, but you don't really see him picked so much. But I do feel like the characters, like go-to choices now, are definitely Karen, Rashid, Ibuki, Akuma, and a 5th character. People really don't use Abigail. You know what? I'll default it at that 4. I feel like most people, for the most part, you see these 4 characters the most. And that's definitely the Ibuki, the Karen, the Rashid, and the, Akuma. Like, you will always see these characters pop up. Like, character variety, I mean, people still pick characters here and there. I remember when Abigail was, like, very, very powerful, you would see a lot of Abigails. But for the most part, I feel like those 4 are consistently what you would see, like, a lot. Even Cammy isn't the girl that she used to be back in the day in earlier seasons of Street Fighter. So, just going off of that, just mentioning what I was talking about before, but elaborating a little bit more, I would like to see that variety, just characters being a little bit more fun so they could be used more. Because at the end of the day, like, not every single player, tournament or casual, would play a character just because they're powerful, quote unquote, or they're strong. Some characters just seem cool. Like Zeku. A person took the time to learn Master Zeku because he felt that this character was a cool, dope character, and that was Angry Bird. And he was able to find great success with Zeku, and that even goes for G too. G, a lot of pro players has been finding a lot of amazing success with G, and I wouldn't even say like G's a high tier character. Like, he's a very technical, tricky, trickster based character where he can put you in a lot of 50-50 base situations where you have to kind of guess off of your wake up. But like, for the most part, some of that stuff, it's not easy to execute all the time, you know? Like, the consistency that you get out of those characters is not easy. Even Urian to me is probably the more cooler designed characters based off of the way how his combo works, on top of the way how his combo works with his Aegis Reflector. So I think that's just super clean and dope. But yeah, so I laid out pretty much my overall thoughts in the season. I'm not going to talk too much about DLC. I'm not going to talk too much about content. That's mostly for another video. Also, it's kind of a hit miss thing about like what could we get for content. What do I want to see from Street Fighter V in the future? And I'm gonna try to be as reasonable as possible, because you have to also keep in mind they already announced Championship Edition, which I'll talk about like in another video about everything and all the dope stuff that we're gonna be getting and my thoughts on it in a different video. But like, that's the thing, like, we already know that Street Fighter V unfortunately is coming to an end. Fortunately for some people, unfortunately for the small group of people. So it's coming to an end. What could they do just to make Street Fighter V just enjoyable for the remaining fandom and the competitive base that still exists with this game? And to me, I've been a fighting game player that's been very, very close, and I focus on this very exclusively. Personally, I focus on the story. And the story to me has always been a strong and impactful thing when it comes to Street Fighter, because that's what gives you, the player, that relationship with the character. So I really do hope that this time around, story-wise, we actually could get some really cool story-driven... Well, we could get like maybe another story or another go-around for the story for each of these individual characters. While I'm thinking about it, it does sound a bit, unreasonable, revamping every single character story. But, it's something that could be potentially thought about. Season 5 is coming. Literally, they have a whole year to work on new stories for characters to make them a little bit more interesting. Because I'm not going to lie, the storytelling in this game is complete hot garbage. Like, I really don't care for the bulk of the characters' backstories. Even Kage, I had a lot of hope for Kage to have some sort of like impactful storyline, but he really didn't. And that's just the whole tone of this whole game when it comes to storytelling. Like, not a lot of people have really impactful storytelling at all. Even the cinematic story was kind of just meh. Like, I remember rumors of there being another cinematic story that they're gonna potentially do again. So I don't know if they're saving that for like season 5 or towards the end of season 5. But if they do come out with another story, by all means, I will be happy to play it. Personally, I hope the story's a little bit more darker in tone, not as whimsical as like the first story was, where it felt like more of a team adventure rather than the stakes are actually high and the things that's going on are really serious. Like, individuals are dying. Like, I would love to see a serious Street Fighter story like that told once again, but it's all, we all have to just wait and see, right? So yeah, story is one thing. Character selection, I really don't care for who they decide to pick, but there is one character allegedly rumored to be a part of this game, because there's going to be a game mode that they're going to associate with Street Fighter Championship Edition, which I'm hype about. So apparently Seth is supposed to be in this game. And if Seth really is in this game, I think that is the most amazing and fire decision Capcom could make. If Seth is the first character we get in Season 5, I have to give it to Capcom. I have to. I have to. That would be amazing. Super amazing. That would be hype as shit. But yeah. So there's supposed to be a new game mode allegedly, and for characters, like I said, Seth would be one character that I would love to see return in this game, only because of his kit and his utility. I think Seth is a very versatile character, even though most people feel like he's a bland character, which is understandable, you know. Like, Seth isn't unique in what he does. He's pretty much the mimicry character or the copycat character that copies the movesets and the abilities of the other characters in the roster. So there's that. That's how Seth pretty much functions, and I think that's pretty dope. And the way how they can Street Fighter 5 him, I think is gonna be sick. I really imagining it in my head where they could potentially give him new abilities and moves that would just all revolve around possibly mimicking characters, on top of him already having a pre-made move set that already utilizes some of the other character moves. I think that would be sick. But yeah. So guys, Street Fighter 5, it's a very mixed bag for a lot of people. For me personally, naming out all the things like, you know, online could be better for Street Fighter 5. Season 4 was a little bit weird overall. Just a very out there season, and obviously not including like DLC and just, you know, patch notes in general. I really do have hope that Season 5 could be an enjoyable experience. I do wish that they make characters a little bit more fun, on top of, you know, let's not nerf this game, or let's not nerf the characters of this game. That's the proper way to word it. Let's not nerf the characters of this game to the ground. Like, I don't want to see a trash Rashid. I feel like that makes nobody happy. People invest time into Rashid, and the Rashid players that want to still play him should be able to play him at a decent enough state where they feel like they're strong with the character. But, you know, I would love to just have some of the other characters in the roster, you know, just become a little bit more fun. Get a little bit more, let's get a little bit more fun. Make fans of those characters that's not as strong in this game just feel like they could do something with these characters. I feel like that's the best way to go about wording that. So yeah. But guys, definitely let me know what you guys thought about Season 4 Street Fighter 5. Also, let me know what you guys are looking forward to for Season 5 of Street Fighter. And that's pretty much all I got for you for this video. I'm excited for Gil. I feel like everybody and their, you know, computer and monitor pretty much broke down Gil as a character and stuff like that. So if anything, there's those videos online. I'll definitely talk about the character personally for myself, but that's for a separate video. But I like to thank you guys for watching. You guys take care, and I'll definitely be reading the comments below. So you guys have a good one. Peace.